Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back for episode 6 of season 1 of Devil May Cry. This is an episode that a lot of people have been hyping up. Not exactly sure why, but it's the one I've seen a lot of people talk about, and I've seen a couple comments be like, dude, I cannot wait till you get to episode 6. So, well, we're here. So let's get ready to hop in. If you want to see the full length reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you come here on the channel, get you access as well. It is a watch along format, so you will need your own footage to sync up with the time codes for actually the entire episode. Over there, you get the same thing for all the other shows and movies that we cover on the channel. You also get to suggest and vote on movies we react to each month. It's just a great way to support the channel, help us do the things we do over here. But at the end of the day, really appreciate it. Enjoy this reaction. Please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already, because it really helps these videos out. That all sent out of the way. Let's get ready to hop into episode 6, The First Circle. Here we go. Oh. Whoa. Oh, dude. This is giving me Resident Evil Village vibes. Oh. Is that why? Is this the backstory episode? Dude, these last few years have been a little rough to him, haven't they? He had a full head of hair before. Just been experimenting and experimenting, stressing and stressing. Yeah. Yo, we saw a little flicker of that in a previous episode. That hand. It's tearing the family apart. Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. No dialogue at all yet. Wow. Oh. Run away from one hell into another. Oh. Whoa. Wow. What is... Oh, I guess you would want to give us a more whimsical, artistic direction to kind of balance out the actual fucking nightmare that it is. Oh my goodness. So the rabbit is a human. That explains why the bullet didn't work earlier. I assume that's what this is meant to imply. He's taken in by them. And he found acceptance here. This is gorgeous. Hmm. I'm gonna fucking cry, man. Jesus. Whew. Oh, what's gonna happen to this poor kid? Oh, wait. Yeah, oh, okay. Well, the amulet was on this side of the gate. Oh, what have we here? Oh, some of the more powerful demons. Oh, is the little one gonna cough and give them away? Or just succumb? Oh. Thought for a second they were gonna get caught, but it's... Oh. Oh. I mean, I should have seen that coming. There's no happy endings in this episode, that's for damn sure. And his obsession with demons is what led him down this path and then caused all of this. And then he's seen all of this over here and then also firsthand experienced the evil of humanity itself in his own experiences. And that sent them down their current paths. Oh shit! Hell yeah! That's her game outfit. And he kept toiling away. I like that they're paralleling her storyline with his. Two humans that ended up on two different sides of this conflict. Mm-hmm. Kind of looks like V a little bit. A human that dedicated his life to trying to help them, found camaraderie and companionship with them, and another basically being raised to destroy them all. Oh. Oh my God.
Why do you look human?
I am human. Please. We mean no harm. We're just trying to get to safety. If you'll put the guns down, I can explain.
Ah! Fuck, Jesus! Oh my God!
Darkcom, evacuate!
Well, that's why he's targeting Darkcom. Jesus, man.
Now, we all go down the rabbit hole together.
Oh, he fucking cracked. I mean, I can't blame him, dude. Holy shit. Oh, they even changed the outro for this one. What an episode. That was rough, man. Watching her like spiral, lose her father to this obsession, and not only that, because of that, losing her own mother, like him going down this road to get power to defend them from demons led him to becoming one and killing her, and then resulting her into running away, fighting back, and resulting him getting burned alive there as well. Her losing all of this to that led her firsthand towards Darkcom, and then just again doing all this and these things, reinforcing all these stigmas and beliefs, and and just policing it, them, keep them out, they're evil, blah 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 blah. Again, painting an entire people as a monolith, and then just trying to like justify their extermination. I think it's something that the games have flirted with, but never really taken a lot of that time to really dive into, because it's a core component of her character, even when she's introduced in 3, though it's not something we explore nearly to this depth. But I think it's a valid conversation to have given this current situation of it, and I don't think that should discount it either way, because we should have to have these conversations about this sort of thing, man. These people are just trying to find somewhere safe, somewhere to be, somewhere they're not being abused. Just like the compassion, the empathy. And I like that that's paralleled with Rabbit's story here. We see that he was an orphan as a kid, a human orphan. And, he didn't have his family, and he retreated, he escaped, he had his book, went into this foster family that just abused him, treated him like shit. And then, he found it out when one of these breaches popped up in an alleyway, and he went down his own rabbit hole, and then found kinship in the lesser demons of the demon world. Just like in our world, the people with more power, more resources, more strength, more ability, just lord and just preside over everybody else and take and take and take. It's the same, just different. And these people on the other side, he found more connection with, these outcasts, and he built a family there. And then they were dying all on this side, and dying to the poisoned air, and losing to them and just to the environment itself, the waste itself. You know, he grew connection there and built this, you know, family. And he just spent his life trying to help them and then get them back to somewhere they might be safer, or he thought they'd be safer. But then you come into this situation where they're being met with this militaristic force that is just here to annihilate them when they simply just want to live. They just want to not have to breathe toxic air. They don't want to get eaten by just other demons running amok. It's very real shit. It's part of Mary's journey is learning to empathize, to sympathize, to grow and understand and deconstruct these barriers. And just the choice, too, to depict the demon realm, Makai, as like in this like storybook style, because that was his vision of it. You know, he was living in that book, in that reality or that fiction. And so when he went through the rabbit hole, he went into this illustrative depiction of what that was to him, because that was his wonderland. It was his escape from the reality he knew, watching that unravel and also just kind of juxtapose and contrast with just like the tone of it all, like the bleak waste, the poison air, the distraught people, and this cutesy illustrative art style. Even the overlording demons themselves had a little bit of that to them as well. Kind of highlights a little bit of the irony of everything that's going on. On Mary's side of the coin, everything's black and white. It just shows the disconnect she's got with anything warm in her life. And everything is just, you know, as things are starting to drift, the color's leaving her life, and it's just becoming kind of this monotonous day in, day out loneliness because her family's breaking and falling apart because of her father's obsession with demons, then becoming one and eating her mother. Jesus. And then I don't remember if it was addressed, like the friend that would always come and visit eventually just stopped visiting, probably because of everything that was going on in the house. You know, and then having to be taken away and then setting off down the road, leading herself to Darkcom to sign up and enlist to fight the very thing that disrupted and destroyed her family, attacked her in that subway and started this whole thing to begin with. This was a short film. This was beautiful. There was next to no dialogue until like the last bit when they were adults and they came in here. And then again, him coming in, leading this group away, running away from this predator that was about to destroy them all, just to be halted by this force, be like, nope, sorry, we can't have you all here. And then because of that, it allowed this thing to kind of get up and catch them, and then they just ended up being destroyed on both fronts, leaving him completely, as the sole survivor of this little onslaught, completely destroyed. And like she said, it reminded me of this other moment, and I assumed this was that moment that she was reminded of with these refugees. Now that she's looking back on that with a new lens, it realizes the part she played into all of this, and she tried to make a change, but the people she reports to overrode that. And God, this was amazing. Like, this was beautiful. I absolutely loved this episode. Love the shit this show's diving into, man. And I love how unafraid to really dive into this shit that it is. Because not only that, it, like I said, like even when I was playing the games, I always had that in the back of my mind. It's like, why was Sparta the only one that had a problem with what was going on in hell? Like, it just seemed like infeasible, impractical, improbable even. And I don't know, I always like had that thought in the back of my mind, and then they turned that into the entire like heavy layered conversation at large in this show. And I'm honestly super here for that. And I love that this parallels, because Dante is like a staple, like all of this hinges on what Sparta did, and he's going to be the linchpin of everything. So like having him as like a constant, as our grounding factor, as he quite literally is of both worlds. He's human and demon. And then seeing how all of this has wrought and shaped and sculpted the lives of these two humans who wound up on two different sides of the same thing. I love that they've made those two parallels. So having this episode about those two is honestly super fascinating and inspired, I think. And I get like some people don't want that in their media in any kind of way because that's their escape. they're distanced from all the pain in the world, but sometimes we need to talk about it. Sometimes it needs to come up. And I like that they've used this to kind of have this conversation in the show, because I think it's very relevant and integral even to the world of Devil May Cry. Compassion and empathy, it's not easy because you're sharing in that pain, you know? So like, that's the thing. Like, you put yourself in someone else's shoes and you try to walk in it and understand and feel it. Some people just, they don't feel it, you know? And that's the cold, harsh, bleak reality of this world, is some people are never going to care about anybody other than themselves or their own. I mean, it's a defense mechanism built into us, you know, from our primal ages, you know, being afraid of what we don't understand, being afraid of what doesn't look like us. You know, it's a way your instincts have built us to survive in the world by keeping the things that is not our tribe away, so that we can carry on. We've evolved since this point, since this need. It's just some people are trapped in that cycle and can't acknowledge it or aren't willing to acknowledge it. And one of the best examples of a series that I think has tackled this topic really, really well, putting yourself in the shoes of one's enemy, learning to empathize and sympathize with who you originally saw as nothing but the villain. It's a great challenge of tribalism as a whole, as a concept, is Attack on Titan. I thought that show did it beautifully. The Last of Us Part 2 also did a decent job, not as good at all as I think Attack on Titan, but I think it does a good job at kind of trying to explore that as well. Being a video game, it also literally puts you in the driver's seat and makes you responsible and complicit for a lot of things. And those are the two examples that immediately come to mind as far as like a good way to kind of perform like an actual exercise in this, whether by viewing it or by taking part in it. You know, and coming back to instinct, now if you're looking at these worlds where, you know, they once were the same, but then they were separated for a millennia or more, and they've gone down a completely different evolutionary path, what's their instinct? Things that even they have to wrestle with and fight with. So if you want to talk about like the old demons are innately evil or whatever, maybe violent, aggressive, because we saw when Dante activated his demon blood, he kind of fell into that rage a little bit. And maybe in this world, in this iteration, that is kind of the instinct that they have to override, whereas ours is that tribalism, that distancing, that fear of the unknown, the fear of what is not us, what is not human, or vice versa, whatever qualifier you want to throw in that place. And that's something that some people have definitely been able to move past, some people haven't. And if you look at demons in the same way, you may have some, like maybe the most powerful ones, because they lean into that aggression, lean into that power, and that's how they get their control and creating a completely different power dynamic on this side of the plane. But then other people have been able to circumvent that instinct, and maybe even the lesser demons, it's a little bit easier because they don't have as much of that power to flaunt around to be corrupted by. I don't know. It's just really interesting because even on the flip side of that with humans in this world, it's always the ones that are seeking power through demonic means most of the time are the ones that kind of wind up corrupted. Because I mean, look at Makai as like a world. Like, it is barren, it is toxic, it almost would seem like it would kind of promote the predatory lifestyle of some of these more powerful demons. If you're going to survive, you're going to have to take. Some of these demons that can't kind of match up to that, defend against it, and just fall prey to the cycle of violence, whether it be in being enslaved or being eaten or whatever. Well, the only out for them is quite literally to get out. They could quite easily muddy the waters with the messaging overall, depending on what way they go with that whole thing. Because I brought that up in the last episode when Dante transformed. He seemingly was way more aggressive than we've ever seen him before. But now that I'm talking about this whole thing and talking about humans and how we act about certain things based on how our evolutionary path took us, it kind of helped me actually talk myself through part of that problem. They could still mess it up, but at least there is an avenue and an out for them to explore how humanity and demons are kind of two sides of the same coin, almost a reflection of one another. At the end of the day, we all crave the exact same things: safety, a roof over our head, love, food, water, air that's not poisoning us, not killing us, and to be loved, to have love, to, see our loved ones grow up and live fulfilled, strong lives, and to see some people just completely push that away or deny that outright to other people, willfully using all these other qualifiers as just a way to disqualify them from any kind of same semblance that they have, just because people might believe something different, look different, be from somewhere different, or be born into a different lot in life, and it just colors their entire interpretation to create this cold, callous distancing from any of that, when if they were in their position, it would be completely different. And sometimes we'll even use the actions of a few or the worst of a people to paint a broad picture of the entirety of that group to keep them all at a distance. And then that's the belief that they pass on, that they teach, and then it just spreads like wildfire, and putting that out or unlearning that is so difficult. But then when that's turned around on them, of course, everybody's going to get a little upset. It's all fine and dandy until it happens to you. And that's the whole thing, is where there's no disconnect, because that's what's happening to them. You're only really making that connection now that it's thrown your way. Connect, empathize, share in that emotion, and use that to learn and educate yourself. Have an awakening. Because when you don't put yourself in somebody else's shoes and you act out and you make them into a villain, they may indeed become a villain. Because people can only take so much before they hit their breaking point, man. I mean, this episode we saw that happen to Rabbit. He was trying, he was desperately helping these people that took him in that were not him or his own, and he found more compassion there with these demons than he ever did in the human realm, bridging that gap. But then the moment he tries to bring them back to his world to keep them safe, he's met with this onslaught, this desolation and destruction, and thus the White Rabbit is born. We created that villain. I know it's not easy, but that's the point. Like, kindness and extending an open arm and open your home and doing any of these things, like it's not easy. But know what else isn't easy? Watching everybody you love around you die, watching everybody you love around you get sick and succumb, watching everybody struggle, starve, thirst, want, need. Anyway, sorry. I'm just getting a little worked up over all of this because it's very real. And it's a very real problem, and there is increasingly less and less and less compassion and empathy in this world, and yeah. On that note, how did you guys feel about this episode? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoy the reaction. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. Remember, if you want to see the full-length reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you're a member of the channel, get you access as well. And speaking of before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Benny Share, Your Course God, Rubber Anguiano, Jeffrey L, Jake Contrell, Eric Official, Casey Wood, Russell Crocker, Watchtower, Domi, and Gregory Toner. Thank you guys so much for continued support. But that's just the video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.